Alright, welcome back. I am here, and now I'm going to go over the Mage cards. So, what did Mage get this set? They got two basic things. Number one is they've got, I'll just go over quickly, they got Arcane Bolt, which by itself, I'll go over the ratings in a minute. But they've got a lot of cards here that synergize with Arcane Bolt, either give you more Arcane Bolts, or benefit from, they either give you more Arcane Bolts, or they synergize heavily with Arcane Bolts. So that's synergy number one. And synergy number two is Mana Cheat. Mana Cheat synergies traditionally have been good. The Arcane Bolt synergy, let's go into the reviews. Let's see how we go. Alright, so we'll start with the Epitomis Arcane Bolt. 1 mana, deal 2 damage. Mana Thirst, deal 3 damage. So, this is a card. We know this card by itself. We know what it's worth. We've seen Arcane Shot. We've seen Holy Smite. We know what our Arcane Bolt is going to be. That's a it's a low 3-star card. Not much needs to be said there. Alright. Arcane Worm. Arcane Bolt, but it has a 1/2 body. Again, we know that a 1/2 that gives you a spell is good. We know what that rating is. That's a high 3-star card. Alright. Next one here, Magister's Apprentice. Okay, your arcane spells cost 1 less. So now you can kind of see where the Arcane Bolt synergy is coming in. So, Sorcerer's Apprentice, that only works with 1/3 of spells. So, Sorcerer's Apprentice was one of those cards where it had a high, what would I say, high perception of its power level, but I don't think it was really all that great. And so ultimately, that's basically where I am. This is a low 3-star, high 4-star card, basically. Again, we know what Sorcerer's Apprentice did, knocking that off for like half the spells. Like with the Arcane Bolt synergy, there are going to be things with it, which is why it's here. Alright, next one. Arcane Defenders, aka not an Arcane Bolt. Summon 2/5/6 Golems taunt and cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers. This is a great card. This is an easy 5-star card. You think about Deep Freeze. Deep Freeze gives you the water elementals. These are better water elementals. You don't get the freeze immediately off the effect, but this is okay. It's just 2/5/6 taunts that can't be removed by spells. You have to trade stuff in. It weakens stuff up, so you can throw your Arcane Bolt in to finish them. There's the Arcane Bolt synergy. Anyways, again, great card, 5-star card. Arc Splitter. 3 mana, 3/2, Death Rattle. Add 2 Arcane Bolts to your hand. More Arcane Bolts. So, okay, 3 mana, 3/2, draw 2 cards. I mean, that's decent. We've had cards similar to this before. That's just like a mid-tier 3-star card. Okay. Vast Wisdom. 3 mana, discover 2 spells that cost 3 or less, swap their costs. Kind of weird. So, you can use this to discover an Arcane Bolt, but then you can use this to discover a secret, and you can make your Arcane Bolt cost 3 mana, but your secret costs 1 mana. So it's basically 3 mana, discover 2 cheap spells. I mean, that's decent. That's like a low 3-star card. Like sometimes you want it. Is it better than Arcane Intellect? Yeah, I think it is, because you get to discover the spells, and there are enough cheap spells that you can use the cheap spell to discover something really good. So. Next one we've got in here is Prismatic Elemental. 2 mana, 1/3. Discover a spell from any class. It costs 1 less. This is a primordial glyph, except it's from any class, So instead, the 2 mana, you get 1 mana in the body, and you get 1 mana in the cost reduction. So. Overall, I think this is a great card. I think this is an easy 4-star card here. So, like, it's a very good card. We know this effect. We've seen this effect before. Discovering spells is really, really powerful. Related to that is Energy Shaper. 4 mana, 3/5. Average stats for the cost. Transform spells in your hands. The ones that cost 2 more, they keep their original cost. Now, we have seen this card before. This card, we've seen variants on this card before. This effect is powerful enough that it sees constructed play in Wild, so that tells you how good this is. Now, again, is it good? It's okay. Like Arena, you're going to get like, what are you going to get? You'll get a few spells. You'll get some RNG stuff on it. Whoopsie, highlighted the wrong thing here. You get the bonus effect on it. So, overall, I think it's just another solid 3-star card. 3 stars. Alright. And then finally on to the legendaries. So legendary number 1 is Vexillus. Vexillus. Your arcane spells cast twice. So you load up your hand with arcane bolts, you play Magister's Apprentice, you play Vexillus, and then John fucking Mad in the face. That's pretty much what it is. So that is, I mean, that's good. But in Arena, what are you gonna get? Like you play this, you play like Arcane and like to draw 4 cards or something like that. I'm not sold on it. Like for 5 mana, 3/5 that you need to combo with stuff. Are you going to have the combo? Maybe, maybe not. So I think ultimately this is yet another 3-star card. And then finally, Grand Magister Ramath. Battlecry recast each spell if you cast this game didn't start from your deck. So the big problem is just the RNG. Like, you will have spells that didn't start in your deck, but most of those spells are targeted. So, that's the problem with this. So, ultimately, for me, I'm saying that is a 1-star card. Understated, you need synergy. It's just like way too many levels of RNG for that to work. Next class, Paladin. Why? That's basically my review of Paladin. Why? So Paladin, they get Dragon Synergy, they get insane Paladin stuff, they get Divine Shields. They just it's basically the expansion where Paladin gets everything, and you're just left wondering why do they keep printing all this stuff for Paladin? Like, why can't Warrior have a Paladin expansion for once? Why can't Warrior have a, like, oh my god, this is the most broken thing ever? It seems like literally every single expansion you go through, and it's like the most broken thing ever. Like Murder and Castle Nathria. What did Paladins get? Oh, Paladins, they got a hard removal. They got some of the best infused synergy. I mean, wow, they got some insane stuff. They got a taunt that discovers a Paladin card. Let's keep on going. Let's go back. Let's say Voyage to the Sunken City. What did Paladin get? Oh, Paladin got, you see here, they got 3 mana 4/2 that you could buff. They got like the 2/2 here that buffs the mechs that you draw, such as this mech. You see the broken stuff that they have. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. Let's go to Fractured and Alterac Valley. Oh, what did Paladin get? They got Brasswing. They got Dunboulder Bridge. They got here, Hold the Bridge, which is really, really good. You got Templar Captain. Hey, look, it's another like 5-star card. It's another 6-star card. Let's go to United in Stormwind. Let's see, what did Paladin get in United in Stormwind? That actually, okay, Wealth Redistributor, that's like really, really good. Like, Wealth Redistributor is really good. Alliance Bannerman is really good. Like, but they are, okay, that's the problem. Like, you got these cards here, and they're not like, they're like 4 or 5-star cards, but you have to go like back 4 or 5 expansions to figure out what Paladin got that was not just like, oh my god, why did you print this? We can go to Forged in the Barrens. You got Cariel Rome, which is a why did you print this? You got Knight of it, again, just like a bunch of good cards in here. So like this one was like kind of like one of the weaker ones, but Cariel Rome, Party Up was really good. Knight of Atonement, Sword of the Fallen, they got like decent cards. Like Sword of the Fallen had to be cheated out. Anyways, so March of the Lich King, the Paladin review is why, and let's answer why I said why. So we start off here with Feast and Famine. Give your hero +3 attack and Mana Thirst 4 and Lifesteal. So, okay. Alright, so 3 mana to buff, you have Lifesteal to heal up. We know this effect. Is it better than Smite? Holy Smite? No, it's a 3-star card. This might be the worst Paladin card they got the whole set. Let's continue. Seal of Blood. Seal of Blood, Seal of Blood, Seal of Blood. Give a minion 3/3 and Divine Shield. Deal 3 damage to your hero. So there is the Paladin card. It was a 6 mana buff Paladin card. Let's see here. Paladin. There's like 6 I want to say like Pharaoh's Blessing or something along those lines. Pharaoh's Blessing. Give a minion +4/+4 Divine Shield and Taunt. Give a minion +3/+3 and Divine Shield. Okay, you don't get the taunt, you move -1/1, you're paying half for the cost. Why? Why? Deal 3 damage to your hero, that doesn't matter. In the early game, when you play this, when it matters, when this is at its most, when it's at its strongest, when it can just steamroll the game for you, 3 damage to your face, that is irrelevant. Why do you print this card? And this is like not even close to the best Paladin card that they have in the set, and it's a 5-star card. Again, why? I'm literally getting like upset just reviewing the Paladin cards because why do you do this, Blizzard? Why? What's the reason? All right, next one. Daring Drake. 4/4 Bet Rush Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, +1/+1. So there is the neutral card. That's the 4/4 Rush that becomes a 6/6 after turn 7. Here you just need a dragon. Paladin does have dragon synergy. So I mean that is a thing. So again, this is actually kind of like one of the weaker ones. I didn't realize that it was that weak. But okay, so this one, it's a 3-star card. Because you will have dragons, as you will see later, and this kind of, it synergizes off itself, it synergizes with the Amber Whelp. There's a lot, like Paladin's the one class that'll have dragon stuff. Alright, next card here, for Kel'Thuzad. Give a friendly minion +3 attack, give your hero +2 this turn. For Kel'Thuzad. For Quel'Thalas, yeah, Quel'Thalas. For Kel, for Qui, for the city. Well, okay, yeah, they can't even say it. For Quel'Thalas. Anyways, give a minion +3 attack. That's good. Give your hero +2 attack. You get to trade off 2 things. It's kind of like if you have something on board, it's a better multi-shot, basically. All right. So anyway, this is I think it's a 4-star card. I think it's a great card here. See here. All right. Sanguine Soldier. 1 mana, 2/1, Divine Shield, Battlecry, deal 2 damage to your hero. Why? Why? All right. All right. So, I mean, it's like one of the... Why do you give them a shielded mini-bot that costs 1 less? Again, this doesn't matter. What is the reason for this? Why do you give them another 5-star card? What is the reason? No, this is not fair. Blizzard, stop. Please, for the love of Christ. God damn it. 5 stars. Okay. Next card. Flight of the Bronze. Thank you, Lin-Manuela Miranda, for giving the worst why. Thank you. Emerald Explorer. Emerald Explorer was 6 mana for a 4/8 taunt that gave you a dragon. Mana Thirst 7, Flight of the Bronze. 1 mana for a 5/5 taunt that gives you lets you discover a fucking dragon.
Why should...
Okay, we're getting into the bad whys. We're getting into the bad Jesus Christ Superstar, though. No, why? I can't get my voice high up. I can get it high, I can't get it that high. All right. It's 7 stars. It's 7 stars. Blood Crusader. Your next Paladin card this turn costs health instead of mana. This is not actually... Here are the problems. Like, okay, problem number 1 is that you may not have a Paladin card to play with this. Problem number 2 is that most of the really, really, really good Paladin cards are pretty cheap. So, like, you're playing this with, like, the 4/4 that rushes, and you get a 4/4/5/5 rush for dealing 4 damage for 0 mana. So, like, that's probably, like, the upside. That's, like, the highest upside. Like, you don't play this with, like, a Seal of the... You don't play it with the fucking bullshit card. You don't play it with Flight of the Bronze. So, it's like... There are going to be cards where this is absolutely insane. There are going to be times when this is absolutely insane. And there are going to be times where you can't do anything, or what you get out of it just doesn't make up for the loss in stats. Now, again, it's still a 3-star card. I mean, like, it's good, and it can be a lot better. Related, Time Warden. Until the end of your next turn, dragons you summon gain Taunt and Divine Shield. So, summon. So the problem here is that Paladins don't really have that many ways to summon dragons. Like, they do have, Firelance Portal, what's it said? What's the damn thing? Magister. I know the cards from the set. I can't remember the set. It's the... God damn it. I know this. I know the cards from the set. Okay, One Night in Karazhan. Karazhan is what I was thinking of. Karazhan has like the 2/3 that has the 2/1/1 whelps. So at 4 mana, you need to play this with another dragon and give it Taunt and Divine Shield. Well, actually, because I misread this. Because until the end of your next turn. So you could play this, and then you could, like, because you have this turn and next turn. So you have 2 turns in order for this to go off. So I misread this, and yeah, this is definitely a 4-star card. Like, well, I can't say that. It's a high 3-star card, is what I'll say. Because the effect is so powerful that, like, you're giving up nothing in terms of stats. And the effect is so powerful, but there is always the chance that you do not have the synergy, or you do not want to play that card in the next turn, and the effect gets wasted. So, like, ultimately, I'd say high 3 stars. Again, just like... But it's... When this goes off, like, ignore the times it doesn't go off. When this goes off, any player against this, they're just going to be fucking incensed playing against this card. This is like another Y card. Alright, finish off. Finish off, please. We only got 2 cards left. Blood Matron, where is she? Blood Matron Liadrin. After you summon a minion with less attack than this, give it Divine Shield and Rush. Better War Song Commander, kind of. It's like a better War Song Commander. If you can buff this, obviously this becomes absolutely busted. Are you going to be able to buff it? Yeah. Well, you got the Alliance Bannerman, so that is a possibility. This has to live. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. It's like, it's still really good. So, again, this is a 3-star card. Did I give it some stars? Yeah, okay. And finally, their other legend. Hey, guess what? You remember how you get to discover a dragon? Anachronis. Battle Cry. Send all other minions 2 turns into the future. A 7 mana, 8/8, overstated, that basically just wipes the board for you for 2 turns. It's basically a 2-turn. It's a 2-turn Frost Nova that wipes the board and prevents your opponent really from developing, because if they develop anything, they're just going to lose the stuff that got wiped anyways. Die. Okay, the reason it's not 7 stars is because those minions do come back. The reason it's not 7 stars is because if you got stuff on your side of the board, then you kind of lose that. So there are actual situations. Like, this is not a Ysera where it's always great. This is just one of those cards where it just wins you games. It gets you out of games that you should lose just because it exists. And because you get to discover dragons because you're a fucking paladin, this card is going to show up and screw you over. Like, I hate paladin. Like, I want to play Death Knights because I think Death Knights are a good card, but then you got this bullshit from Paladin that is just going to make Arena completely unfair. It's going to make Arena horrible. Like, this shit is going to fucking ruin Arena. Like, I'm literally, like, at a point where I'm kind of pissed off at Arena just on reviewing cards. I mean, think about how fucking crazy that is. Okay. Let's go to, like, an actual class. Let's go to, like, an actual non-fucking bullshit class in Priest. So, Priest, what do they get to do? Basically, they get 2 synergies. Number 1 is Shadow Spell synergy. That's kind of minor. But Priest, they're one of the classes that gets to have fun with Undead. They get to have fun with Reborn, with Resurrection, and they get a lot of strong Death Rattle cards. So, we start off with the thing. I'm just going to start off with kind of like, this is going to be the linchpin for Priest, and that is Mind Eater. So 2 mana, 3/2, add a random. So add a copy of a card in your opponent's deck to your hand. So this is a 4-star card. The effect by itself is a 3-star effect. However, when you take a look at like this entire set and this entire thing, this is the card that is going to make pretty much every single other Priest card that you take in this expansion work. If you do not have this, then they're not going to work. They're going to be a lot less. This raises the level of pretty much every single other Priest card in this set. All right, and we'll get into that later. All right, next on the commons is Crystal Smith Cultist. If you're holding a shadow spell, gain +1/+1. All right, like, you have to be holding a shadow spell. You don't want to keep, you do not want to keep a shadow spell in your opening hand with this card. So that's the problem. So because of that, like, I can't say it's anything more than like I have it as 1. Like, I compare it. There's the whatchamacallit. There's a Death Knight card that I rated a lot higher because Frost spells you kind of do want to keep, but Priest Shadow spells, they're all very situational and you don't want to keep them. So ultimately, I rate this as a 1-star card because I think even if you have the Shadow spell, you're probably bad. All right. Undying Allies. After you play an undead this turn, give it Reborn. So again, this is where you go with Mind Eater. This is where you go with like other undead. So if you can play this with a Mind Eater, you know what? You get your card back, and because of the Reborn effect. So is this good? Like, it's heavily synergistic with, like, you need this plus another undead, and you need the undead, like, when it dies to, like, do something, so it's not just the 0 mana 3/1. And for like the neutral undead, I'm not sure. So it's like, this is one of those cards where I might be overrating it by saying it's a 2-star card, because I think there is enough in Priest to justify this. but I think you will be able to justify this. I'm just not entirely certain. All right. Next one, on to the rares. Animate Dead. Resurrect a friendly minion that costs 3 or less. So again, if you can get like if you get the Mind Eater out of this, this is a good card. So ultimately, though, like the problem is tokens. You're like in Arena, you're gonna pick tokens. Tokens are going to screw this up, and you'll be upset about it. Like, so what is it? To me, it's a 2-star card. It's a high 2-star card. Take it a little bit higher if you've got the priest stuff. Otherwise, it's just kind of like it's like a mediocre temple play in the mid game. Second card here, Bone Caller. Resurrect a friendly undead that died this game. So again, this is why you want your. Okay, so that's death. That's the death rattle. So it's kind of like it's a Yeti that resurrects an undead. So like because 2/4 ton or 4/3, 4/3 is a little bit better. The undead, it can be any kind of undead. Problem is you can't really play this on curve unless you've played a Mind Eater. So yeah. So I think honestly, I'll probably say that this is a 3-star card because I think you will have undead. And I think you will take them because of the other priest effects, because you want that. And ultimately, like, see, sorry, I changed it to 65 a little bit too late here. Because I'm thinking about this, I think this will actually be a decent card. I think you will have enough undead for it. Shadowword Undeath. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, deal 2 more. So it's 5 mana consecration, which is fine. Or it's 5 mana Flame Strike, which is really, really, really good if you have undead. Again, Mind Eater. So because of this, I think that this is a solid 4-star card. Like the fact that you're not going to have undead reliably, and that this is a removal where you need reliability, kind of hinders it. But I think overall 4-star card for this. Next card here, Haunting Nightmare. So I keep bringing up Mind Eater, because Mind Eater is a common and you're going to see it a lot, but Mind Eater's not even close to Haunting Nightmare. 3 mana 3/3, Death Rattle, haunt a card in your hand. When you play it, summon a 3/3 soldier. So, you don't get it immediately, but you get 6 mana worth of value out of a 3 mana card. This is obviously great. To me, this is like an easy 5-star card here for this one. So, like, you pick this one, like, all the stuff I said about Mind Eater goes double for this. Like, this is another, like, in Constructed, I think this is going to be really strong. Like, in Arena, you take this just because it's great stats for the value. And again, it activates all the undead stuff. It makes all your, like, it makes your Resurrect undead stuff. It makes your Reborn. The Reborn makes this really good. This dies off, you can trade it. So it just makes everything come together. Problem is, it's epic. So it's like Mind Eater is probably a 73 that I'm raising to an 83 because you're going to want to take it to justify all your undead package. And this is like a 93 or 95 that I'm just leaving here because it's that good. Other card, Grave Digging. 4 mana, draw 2 cards. Cost 1 if a friendly undead died after your turn. Okay, so same thing. This is like, if you have undead, that's 1 mana, draw 2. That's great. You can afford to take 1 mana, draw 2. Like, again, you want the undead on board, and you want the undead resurrected or reborn or whatever to justify this. And even in the late game, if you don't have undead, 4 mana, draw 2 is not horrible, but the upside of this is really good. So I think it's a solid 3-star card. All right, Sister Sylvester. Permanently add a Vision of Darkness to your hand. Vision of Darkness is discover a shadow spell. This stays in your hand. So you get a permanent 3 mana discovery spell. So you win the game in terms of like card advantage. Now, is 3 mana discover a shadow spell really all that good? I don't think so. Like in the sense that if you pay, like it's great if you need to, it's great when you need to find an answer. That's the reason for this. But in terms of value, paying a 3 mana tax on whatever you're going to play is not really, it's not something you want to do. You pay that, you you definitely pick this card. Don't get me wrong. You definitely pick this card. I just think you don't pick it that much because you pick it for emergency cases. And where is that? I don't think that's really that good. I think that's honestly a 3-star card, even with how valuable that can be in certain emergency cases, because you're paying 6 mana for 6/6 and kind of like an emergency case. So, and finally, High Cultist Balsef. Resurrect all friendly undead that died after your last turn. So, honestly, pretty good when you think about it. Because it's if an undead dies, you get this back. Now, if it's like a Mind Flayer, I mean, that's fine. Like, there's a few different kinds of undead. Remember, you can trade it off and then resurrect it immediately. So, like, even if you get one card, this is kind of worth it. So the problem is if you have 0 cards, it's an anti-tempo, which is the real problem with it. So I think ultimately, like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to say it's probably going to be like a 2-star card. Now, unfortunately, Sabers of Olddoom is not in there. So the idea is that something like a Wrapped Golem or a Bone Wraith or the Scourge Inquisitor. Is Inquisitor? Actually, going to check. Is Inquisitor in? No, I forget. Okay, I'll go here. It's the 5 mana. I forget what the card is. It's the 5 mana taunt that death rattles that destroys something. Wild. Convincing Infiltrator. Convincing Infiltrator, that's what I was thinking of. Convincing Infiltrator is in Rise of Shadows, which is not here. Okay, I was going to say, like, this would be a good example of a card like that. Alright. I said I was going to do Rogue here, but I think I'm going to move Rogue to the last batch. Mostly because, like, I'm still a little bit on tilt after reviewing that Paladin set. I legitimately am on tilt reviewing the Paladin set. I do need to cool down a little bit. Oh, here, I forgot to put this in here. Alright. I call this battle set 2 stars just because of the cases where it does nothing. Alright. Anyways, once I've calmed down, once I've had like a little bit of a drink, I will finish up the set. So I will see you guys in the last video. Take care.